This is the best of the week on Relevant Radio.
I think I've always gotten gifts that I wanted.
Craziest gift I ever got for Christmas, and I ask for it every year, is a homemade fruitcake.
Are you kidding me?
You're gonna be like the fastest toilet bowl cleaner.
The Drew Mariani Show on Relevant Radio. And the Relevant Radio app.
Now, I'm getting ready for some Christmas music now. After Thanksgiving is a great time to start to listen to it. It's good to be with you. I was listening, Maggie, to that rejoin there. Fruitcake.
Well,
You don't like fruitcake?
no.
Every year I talk about it, every year people say, I love it, or I guess it depends on the type of fruitcake that comes. My wife, I did a show one time, we talked about it, so she tried to make one. It was okay, but it was her first time at it, and my wife's a great cook, so I don't want to throw her under the bus. But, I have 5 kids, and there was a time in my own life where I went through a very difficult financial time. And God was stripping me of everything I had, of the homes that I had. I had multiple homes, I had cars, I had a successful business. And God was shutting that chapter of my life down. He's leading me in a new direction to the world of radio. I'd never wanted to do this, but I didn't understand because I loved what I did. I prayed. And I remember Christmas coming around. It was a hard time for the Mariani family. I had young kids. They were, probably ages, 1 through 5 or 6. And I remember just trying to buy diapers or milk. And my wife would go into the store to put her ATM in, and it didn't work again. And she starts crying. It was just so humiliating for me as a man. I felt so emasculated by the whole process. And I remember one Christmas, my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law, who covered Christmas for us, right? We didn't know how we were going to provide for it. And they stepped up and they made Christmas. It brings tears to my eyes when I think about it. It's such a beautiful act of charity. And I never forgot this. So from that moment forward, Kathy and I always vowed every Christmas to do something for a family that was in need. And we try to remain anonymous so they don't know who it is. We'll give them money or a gift card, do something that we can do to help them if they have a family that's in need. But I work with some colleagues that have big families. Preston and Kym, who prayed the chapel with us for a long time, now is our chief financial officer, has 8 children, right? And Kym and Preston were both with me on the trip to Italy just a short time ago. And they were sharing with me that they do a couple things over the holidays. We got to stop by the studio. Come on in and share it. It's good to have both of you with me. Thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for inviting us.
So good to have you here too, Preston. Now, Preston, you gave a presentation in Relevant too. And people loved it because you got up and you talked about how you handle Christmas for the holidays. I know you give your kids, you have 8 of them.
Yep.
So you give them 4 things. That's 32 gifts.
That's a lot of gifts.
That's still a lot of gifts. Doesn't sound like a lot.
It doesn't sound like a lot.
That's 32 gifts.
Yeah, so we limit it to 4 gifts. We put a little saying together. It's a read gift, a need gift, a wear gift, and a share. So read, need, wear, and share. 3 of those 4 gifts, we were going to buy the kids anyway. We just wait till Christmas to give it to them.
And sometimes it's a little more special.
It's a little special. So like if it's a need gift, so maybe it's a comforter, and rather than getting basic one, we'll get like super, Marvel characters or whatever it is, something special. Or
we have some teen sons who, hormones, you're smelling a little differently. So instead of the generic brand of shampoo and conditioner, we're going to get the ones that have Marvel characters or whatnot. Great. So, we keep it simple, but it's also beautiful.
And then we call like the bigger kind of more fun gift, we call it a share gift rather than, to put it in the context, because there is 8 kids, we want them to be sharing with each other and not have Christmas be about fighting, and it's about, coming together.
Again, that's a brilliant idea because there's 8 gifts, right?
Right.
That they're going to share. So that everybody gets to enjoy those, which is super cool. Read, need, wear, and share. How did that originate? Where'd you guys come up with it?
I think it was when we had 6 kids under 6, and I looked over at Preston and I said, I'm so overwhelmed right now. There's so many things coming at us. And at that time, we really wanted to start cultivating hearts of contentment so that it wasn't about the gift themselves. It was about the experience and about how it is that we're all going to share together. We never want our kids to look at any item, any toy in the house and say, that's mine, and be very possessive about that. And so the thought of having shareable gifts meant that they were going to all include one another in that play and in that activity.
That's great.
And it puts kind of a structure around what we're going to buy for them. Books are pretty cheap, especially if you go to the library, book sales. You have to buy clothes for the kids anywhere or shoes. And then you always can find something they need if it's socks or deodorant or whatever it is. And then the share gift, it gives the context and expectations for the kids that they know they'll get 4 gifts. They're not going to get more than that. They're not going to get less, but at least they know, so they're never disappointed.
Specifically from us, right? Because then we still have godparents who might give gifts or things like that. But from us, they know.
It can be hard for them. What's the age range, by the way, for schools? You have some in high school.
Our oldest is 15 and our youngest is 2.
Wow.
I know. She is going to be driving soon.
It goes fast.
Too fast.
Because really, once they get their license, goodbye.
Right. Everyone,
they'll work. They'll be with their friends. You never see them.
Yeah. Everyone told us that. And for the longest time, I would just say, yeah, okay, I'm enjoying this time. But now that she's 15, we're looking at colleges. She's thinking about what's the next step in her life. Yep. And I just look back and I'm like, oh, my advice to parents is hold those kids' hands, snuggle with them when you can. Take advantage of these minutes while you can, especially with your little ones. I was talking to Cyrus, who's Patrick Madrid's producer, earlier today, and I said, my 18-year-old, he left the house like his pants were on fire. Oh, no. He didn't do it deliberately. He just went to college, and then over the summer, he got a job where he was. I said, aren't you coming home? No, Dad, I'm going to be here. It's just like, so that's what Cyrus says, I left when I was 17. So, take advantage of every minute you can with these kids. Plus, with the gift giving, back to that for a moment, I think it's a great idea because, when you go to school sometimes, it's hard. Some parents just, I had a friend when I was growing up. It was crazy. I thought like the dad worked at a toy factory. I'd go into their home. They had 3 kids. They had piles and piles and piles of stuff, Mariani's didn't have those huge piles like that. So being able to have this philosophy that you guys have within your home, I think is a great idea. So the kids don't feel like they don't have enough, Right. And honestly, like I said, we're trying to cultivate these hearts of gratitude and of service. I mean, we really do celebrate all of Advent. Yeah. So that includes our kids decided to do it a little earlier this year. We have something called Secret Saints. Okay. And so during the Advent season, they have to pick each other's names. And it's not about the gift that they get from their secret saint. It's actually about having service towards one another. And so they'll do just little random acts of service. And it's supposed to be all mysterious until the 3rd week, the joyful week, Gaudete Sunday. And that's when they reveal who they have. Wow. But we do see that, as Preston pointed out a little bit to me, he's like, I noticed that the kids do more service for their non-secret saint name because they desire to not be known. So Blaze, for instance, will go and do the dishes for his brother Malachi, even though his person might be someone else, right? Wow. So it's really fun to be able to see our kids really cultivating that desire to help and to do it in a mysterious way.
The names are great. I have a brother-in-law named Blaze, and I hardly ever hear that name anywhere.
Great name.
That's a great name. It's a strong name. And Malachi's the other one. What are your kids' names?
So we have Isabella, we have Tegan, we have Malachi and Blaze. We have Amilda.
Wow.
Great saint.
Yeah.
We have Ambrose. We have Lorna. And then we have Via Maria.
That's so beautiful. Great names. That's awesome. I love it. And you both were commiserate on this when they came down, or were you pressing? Because my wife wanted a name or two. I'm like, I don't want that name. I don't like that name.
We still have a running list. I know that Preston has either joked or been serious about some names that have never gotten on there, like Polycarp.
I probably wouldn't go with that one either.
I've been able to hold off on that one. Malachi was a name that he wanted since our first.
Wow,
I mean,
cool.
He was like, she could be a Malachi, and I was like, she could not be a Malachi.
Well, we're praying Maggie gets pregnant, so Maggie,
we'll join in those prayers.
List. Right. I told her you should name your first son Telemachus.
I'm sorry, what?
Telemachus gave his life up, they say, in the Colosseum, and he was one of the reasons why the gladiator games ended. Because he fought against this type of thing and he was slaughtered right there. There's a couple different legends regarding him.
I'll have to run that one by Joe.
That and Polycarp. See how Joe. That's so funny. Right. So your Advent thing for those, because this is a great exercise. I mean,
that's right.
And I was just saying to you off air, you guys are such good parents. You make me feel guilty. You make me feel guilty. Here you are at Advent, How does this work? And I hope others will follow, because I think this is such a great spiritual exercise. So walk us through it. If somebody wants to do this for Advent, because it's right around the corner.
I mean, most people are familiar with Secret Santa. So we just change it to Secret Saint, and it's really being a saint to the person that you're drawing in the drawing. We do it with our kids. We have a larger family where the kids can pick each other. If you have a smaller family, you might actually include the parents. You might even include grandparents or extended family. And instead of just having it be about that one gift you exchange at Christmas, it's about that series of time between the start of Advent to either Joyful Sunday or Christmas itself. And it's about like leaving cards of affirmation, being intentional about making that other person feel good through the season.
I mean, St. Mother Teresa of Calcutta, she said, and I'm going to butcher this, but she said something along the lines of, you should wash the dishes not because you love to wash dishes, but because you love the person who will use it next.
Oh, beautiful.
Right? And so the thought of how can my heart be more oriented towards my loved ones by serving in such a way, it really has cultivated this beautiful love between our children where they're like, oh, I noticed my brother's coat is on the floor. I can just pick that up so that mom doesn't have to yell for him. Like, these are just nice little things that they do. And then they sometimes do nice, sweet things throughout Advent. For instance,
what's the reward for this? What do they get as a result of this stuff?
They do give a present to their secret saint, the person that they drew.
Cool.
For us, it has become Gaudete Sunday because, you know, who doesn't like to open a little present
a week early,
Right.
For the joyful.
That's right.
And it's just so great. So that,
I mean, the reward is again, they get to feel that they're helping, you know, that it's better to give than receive, but also they know that if they're doing it for the others, then the others are going to want to do it for them too. So it works out. It's just a great season for our family.
I could just see as they get older, this tradition being carried on. And it's something they probably look forward to, too. It makes the season come alive. Advent now has new meeting, which is great.
Right.
Short Advent this year. It starts early. And
right. And honestly, that's how the kids got us both to say yes to picking out names this week. I was like, we are nowhere near Advent. And they're like, we need it, Mom. There's more time we can spend. I'm like, okay,
That's so great. You know, just getting kids to do chores is a battle. So I guess this really helps, right? Your kids, do they fight you on that or are they okay?
Sometimes we have some struggle, especially when it comes to taking out the trash the night before. We have some raccoons that to crawl around the neighborhood and things, but otherwise, no, we're very blessed, our kids.
Well, yeah, Maggie, go ahead.
I would just like to say for the record, I just got a text from my mom. She says, no Telemachus.
But yes to Polycarp.
Yeah, I didn't hear no.
Polycarp
dang.
Parosa. I love it. Hey, this episode of the Drew Mariani Show is on the Relevant Radio app. The Relevant Radio app is completely free. It's updated daily with fresh articles, podcasts, and prayers. So don't delay. Download the app today. Thanks for listening.